Hey everyone, Ramesh here. Today I'm going to start a new video tutorial series on creating a simple real-time project using Spring Boot and ThymeLib. This video tutorial series is very useful for beginners who can understand how to develop a real-time project using Spring Boot and ThymeLib. Here is a high-level project requirement. We're going to create a web application for employee management system where users should be able to get all the employees, add a new employee, update an employee and delete an employee, and users should also able to perform pagination and sorting. Okay, we are basically going to develop a Spring MUC web application for employee management system, and we are going to implement all these features. Alright, for real-time project, this is a screenshot of what the application should look like. This is the button for creating new employee, and this is the edit and delete button for editing and deleting an employee. This is a pagination, and here is a sorting. So basically we sort an employee by first name, last name and email ID. This is the footer. Alright, so this basically screenshot summarize all the features that we are going to develop in this web application. Now let's take a look at our big picture. So we'll start with our web browser, and then request first will come to the employee controller, and then it sends to the employee service, and it goes to the employee repository, and then it hits to the database. Then the employee repository will retrieve data from MySQL database, and again the data will be sent to the employee service and then employee controller. Employee controller will basically return a view, that is the ThymeLib template, and that template will be again rendered on a web browser. This is the typical flow in our Spring MUC web application. This is the high level architecture of our Spring Boot project. So probably you know about front end and back end, right? At a front end we are going to use ThymeLib template engine to develop a view layer, and at the back end we are going to develop 3-layer architecture: controller layer, service layer and DAO layer. At a controller layer we are going to use Spring MUC to develop a Spring MUC controllers which will handle all the HTTP requests. And employee service, so basically we keep all business logic in employee service, and we do a transaction related stuff in employee service. And the employee repository, basically it has a responsibility to establish a connection with a MySQL database, and it exposes CRUD database operations for employee entity. Okay, and at a database we are going to use MySQL database. So this is a typical application architecture. Now let's have a look into the tools and technologies that we'll be using. We'll use Eclipse IDE to develop our Spring MUC web application. We use Spring Boot 2.2.6. This is the latest release of Spring Boot as of now, and Spring Boot 2 internally uses Spring Framework 5. We are going to use Maven for dependency management and project build tool, and we're going to use Java 8. We're going to use Spring Data JPA to develop our repository or DAO layer. Spring Data JPA internally uses Hibernate as a default JPA provider, and we use Spring Data JPA basically to reduce a boilerplate code that is required to develop a DAO layer. And we're going to use ThymeLib to develop our view layer. Alright, these are the tools and technologies that we'll be using. Now let's have a look into the features that we are going to develop in this Spring MUC web application. We first implement list employees feature, then we implement add employee feature, and then we implement edit employee feature and delete employee feature, and we also implement a pagination feature and sorting feature. So these are the features that we are going to develop in this Spring MUC web application with ThymeLib. To keep it simple, basically I divided this tutorial series into 7 parts. This is the first part of Spring Boot ThymeLib CRUD database project tutorial series, and in this part 1 I'm going to show you how to create and set up Spring Boot project in Eclipse STS IDE, and we'll also see how to set up the database. In part 2 we're going to see how to implement list employee feature. In part 3 we're going to see how to implement add employee feature, and in a part 4 we're going to see how to implement update employee feature. and in part 5 we're gonna see how to implement delete employee feature, and in part 6 we'll see how to implement pagination feature, and in a part 7 we're gonna see how to implement sorting feature. Alright, let's go ahead and let's create and set up our Spring Boot project in Eclipse STS IDE, and we'll also set up a database. I'm in Eclipse STS IDE. Let's go ahead and let's quickly create and set up our Spring Boot project. Go to the file and new, and then choose Spring Starter project. You can also use Spring Initializr website. You can access from the web browser. So this is the Spring Initializr website through which we can quickly create and bootstrap Spring based projects. Alright, you can use either Spring Initializr from the browser, or you can use Spring Initializr in a Spring Toolsuite IDE, and Spring Initializr is integrated in Spring Toolsuite IDE, so I am going to use Spring Initializr to quickly create and set up our Spring Boot project. Alright, here let's give name to our project as Spring Boot TimeLeap CRUD web app. So we are going to develop a simple real-time project using Spring Boot and TimeLeap, and we are going to use Maven. So let's keep type as a Maven here. I'm going to use packaging as a jar and keep Java version 8, language Java, and group. I'm going to give group ID as net.javaguides, but you can give any group ID that you want, and the artifact ID is going to be our project name. Let's keep version and description as it is, and package as net.javaguide.springboot. You can give any package name that you want. Alright, once you are happy with the details, click on next, and let's keep Spring Boot version as it is, because this is a stable and latest release of Spring Boot version, and this is recommended by Spring Boot team. So let's keep this Spring Boot version as it is, and this is the latest and stable version of Spring Boot as of now. And here we're gonna select Spring Boot starter dependencies. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's pick up Spring Boot web starter dependency. Alright, Spring web dependency. Okay, so we use Spring web dependency to build web applications as well as RESTful applications, and Spring web starter dependency internally provides Apache Tomcat as embedded default servlet container. Okay, and let's go and let's pick this dependency, and we're gonna use Spring Data JPA. Alright, to develop a repository layer or a DAO layer, we're gonna use Spring Data JPA, and Spring Data JPA internally uses Hibernate as a JPA provider. So basically we use Spring Data JPA to reduce a boilerplate code that is required to develop a DAO layer. And we're gonna use TimeLeap template engine. So let's type TimeLeap. So we use TimeLeap to develop our view layer. Alright, and we're gonna use MySQL database. So let's go ahead and let's choose MySQL JDBC driver. Let's type MySQL here. So this is a MySQL JDBC driver, and we also use Spring Boot dev tools. Okay, so this is the cool feature provided by Spring Boot. So whenever we do some changes in our Spring Boot project, so this dependency will automatically restart the application. So that we will see in a application development. Alright, so these are the dependencies that we need to develop our real-time project using Spring Boot and TimeLeap. Alright, let's hit finish. So this will create a Spring Boot project in Eclipse STS IDE. Alright, look at here, this is the default structure of Spring Boot project. So whenever we create a Spring Boot project using Spring Initializr, then this is the default structure of our Spring Boot project. This is the main entry point class of our Spring Boot project, and look at here, this is a Spring Boot application annotation. This annotation triggers auto configurations and component scanning. Alright, and this annotation is equivalent to declaring add configuration, add enable auto configuration, and add component scan annotation. So instead of adding these three annotations, we can simply add Spring Boot application to trigger auto configurations in Spring Boot project. Okay, this is the application.property file where we configure all the application level properties, and this is the templates folder under resource directory. So under templates folder we keep all the ThymeLib templates. This is the pom.xml file where we keep all the Maven dependencies and plugins and build related things. All right, now what we'll do, we'll create our packaging structure. So let's go ahead and let's create a packaging structure as per our project architecture. All right, so we're gonna see how to create 3-layer architecture. For that, we create a package. First we create a controller package. Next we create a service package where we keep all the service classes, and under controller package we keep all the Spring MVC controllers. Okay, let's go ahead and let's create one more package. Let's name it as repository. Under repository we keep all the JPA repositories. Let's go ahead and let's create one more package and let's name it as model. So we keep all the domain models under model package. Okay, so this is the typical packaging structure for our Spring MVC web application. Now we have created a project packaging structure. Now we will configure a database. Open the application.properties file, and here we configure MySQL database. So look at here, this is the JDBC URL for MySQL database, and we're gonna use demo as our database, and this is a username and password, and this is a MySQL dilate for Hibernate, and this is a property which we can use to automatically create a tables in a database, and we also enable debug logs for Hibernate. Okay, so this will simply print logs onto the console. So this is the database configuration in application.properties file. Now we'll create a database in MySQL database. Open MySQL Workbench, and here just type the statement create database, and let's give our database name as demo. You can use any database name that you want, and just execute this statement. This will create a demo project in MySQL Workbench. Okay, so MySQL Workbench is a client which we can use to connect to the MySQL server. All right, this is one of the popular MySQL client. All right, once we configure MySQL database and once we create a MySQL database, then what we'll do, we'll create a JPA entity. Right, we need to create a domain model, right? So go to the model package, new, and then choose class. Let's give a domain model name as employee, and let's create few fields: private long ID, private string first name, private string last name, and then private string email. All right, let's go ahead and let's quickly create a getter-setter methods to access these private fields. Great, now we have a simple Java class. Let's make this Java class as a JPA entity by using JPA annotation. Let's use entity annotation here. Let's also use a table annotation to provide table details. Let's give a table name as employees. You can also give a schema name by using schema attribute here. All right, so look at here, this is a schema attribute. You can give a schema name here, but we can skip as of now. Let's use @id annotation to provide a primary key of our entity. Let's use @generated_value annotation to provide a primary key generation strategy. All right, strategy generation type dot add entity. Okay, and here we can use add column annotation to map a column name to this field. Okay, so here we can use name, first underscore name. Let's go ahead and let's copy this, and we can also give a name to the last name, like last underscore name and email. Okay, so if you don't give add column annotation, then by default the column name is the field name. All right, and if you don't specify add table annotation here, then by default the table name is the class name. Okay, this is a very simple JP entity. All right, now what we have done, we have created a Spring Boot project, we have created a packaging structure, and we have configured MySQL database in application.properties, and we have also created a database, and we have created a JP entity. In the next part, we're going to implement list employee feature. All right, great. I will see you in the next part.